Hello there, everybody. I'm Mr. GamePie, and he's back!
Wait, he is? Seriously? Where?
Yes, it's you!
It's me?
Yes, and who are you?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Austin on Sugar. I'm back and hopefully kind of here to stay, I don't know. I've got my carbonated pomegranate soda here, and I am ready to rock. So let's rock.
Excellent. Well, this is Let's Play Elebits Part 10. And we're gonna go into more amusement park things, because that's what you do in Elebits. An element is a state of mind. So yeah, today we've got 15-minute level, 17,000 watts of Elebits. Let's go! Alright, so Austin, how about you share with the audience your experience with Elebits?
Not much. Alright, let's see here. When I was, oh gosh, I can't put numbers to this, 10-ish, I played a game called Chibi Robo, which was super adorable and all about experiencing the world from a different perspective. The idea was that suddenly a toaster could be an obstacle you have to vault over rather than being something on a shelf. And I also really liked the idea that the game introduced about how a world of nothing but household appliances and, I guess technically, people could become an entire setting for an adventure game, more or less. Yeah, I thought that was really cool. So, Chibi Robo is awesome. That's somewhat unrelated, I'm sorry.
A little bit, but you know, it works.
A couple years afterwards, I heard of this game, and I believe saw it in a Walmart somewhere, called Elebits, which was just this random game with a little Pikmin-looking Furby thing flying at the screen on a Wii case, and I had absolutely no idea what the game was, but I distinctly remember looking it up, I think? I think the internet existed at that point.
Yeah,
and, and I saw something on there about it's like Pikmin combined with Chibi Robo, which is not entirely accurate, but we'll run with it.
It's not.
I thought that was just a really cool idea for a game, so the fact that it exists is, quite frankly, awesome. And I always wanted to get it. I always wanted to look into it. I never did.
Oh.
And that's my story.
Well, now you're seeing it here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure that whenever you saw the me doing it in your little Let's Play subscriber feed, you were like, "Oh my gosh, Mr. GamePie, you're like the best person ever."
I finally understand. Everything is so clear now. This isn't anything like Pikmin.
Yeah, no, it's not. Like the standard Elebits, the green Elebits, they look a little bit like Pikmin. I'll give them that, but they don't. The gameplay mechanics are entirely different.
I'm actually reminded of another game, as far as their designs go, and I can't quite place it off the top of my head right now, but,
Pokemon?
Not quite Pokemon. Something else, something plushy and collectible. Not Bakugan either, but one of those. Well, Beanie Babies is kind of general. I'll keep stewing on it, maybe I'll come with it eventually, but the red Elebits, the ones with horns, I think?
Yes.
The ones that kind of look like a little imp thing in footy pajamas? They remind me of something from some game, and I wish I remember what.
Something from some game!
Very, very specific there. It's, some kind of design philosophy that I'm pretty sure is just really big in Japan, because you see that same kind of design with characters like Roche in Duck Upon Kingdom, for example. And those kinds of character designs are really interesting to me, just because I don't know, they're cute, they're kinda chibi, and at the same time they've got a decent amount of expressivity to them, so that's kinda nice.
Yeah. Alright, so today we're in this big amusement park, and we've got these very large objects all over the place, so we need to start collecting some power Elebits. Because, you know, that's power Elebits. We need them.
I can't make out any numbers from here, but how heavy are these things?
We're at power level 2 now.
Okay. And
also,
able to pick up benches, not bad.
Something that I did not realize until just a little bit ago is that this is one of the levels where we've got the noise thing going on, so we can't make very loud noises. I'm pretty sure it's already activated on multiple occasions because just, I don't know, Elebits somewhere on the level are making noise somehow, and that is apparently our fault.
Now wait, you're in an amusement park though, right?
Yes.
Isn't that already inherently super loud?
Well, it's at nighttime. There aren't
I
people.
don't know about you, but Six Flags is still really super loud at night.
There aren't people doing things. There aren't all the rides are off.
Fair point,
We haven't
fair
actually
point.
seen any rides yet, but they're off.
Gotcha.
We'll see them later. So yeah, no, this is a very silent amusement park at night. This isn't Disneyland where it's like turning all the rides off at night would take up so much power. It's best to just leave them on all the time.
I still find that absolutely amazing for the record.
Yeah, I do too. Oh, there's this is probably the guy that's making all the noise back here. Let's try to kill him. There we go. You.
So the idea is that he just keeps bumping into stuff, and even though it weighs a couple thousand tons, it doesn't really matter because Elebits don't really have weight limitations or something?
I guess so.
Because I noticed in an
gosh.
earlier level there was an Elebit walking into a tree or something, and then just like walking into it caused the tree to start rolling. I was like, wow! I thought these things were supposed to be tiny.
Yeah. The physical strength and durability of Elebits is very inconsistent.
Yeah.
Because, like, you know, you can crush them under, like, a mug or something.
Mm-hmm.
But then they can also survive completely ridiculous events happening. So, I mean, maybe it's because these guys generate electricity, like, their physical being is inconsistent because of that.
They could be made out of rubber. Or not rubber. No, they couldn't be made out of rubber. They're super conductive.
Yeah. Or maybe that's how they keep all the electricity inside of them.
Oh.
Is that they're made of rubber, and then there's, like, specific points in their body that are, like, super conductive that allow them to transmit their energy to other things.
Like a Pikachu?
Yeah, I guess so. But
Sure.
Pikachus aren't made of rubber.
Well, I don't know. Have you watched the anime?
No, actually, I haven't, so maybe...
Good for you.
I mean, technically speaking, I have seen some episodes at some point, but that was, like, years ago, and...
Metapod, harden! And you never need to watch anything ever again.
But what about Pikachu's getting beaten up by Raichu and drama? It's like, no, I don't want to evolve. Isn't that...
You know, for the record, the first season of Pokemon or so was actually decent. It was after they kept Ash for the other regions that it really went downhill. Before then, it was just kind of a mediocre, self-aware cartoon, and I kind of like that. Stuff like those stilted dialogue, and they actually played with that. There was one guy dressed up as a samurai or something, came up to Ash. Welcome, novice! It was fun. It didn't take itself very seriously at all, and then it also didn't know how to play the actual game, which I always thought was really entertaining. It's kind of like how the writers of Yu-Gi-Oh! Never actually played Yu-Gi-Oh! And that's the one I'm really super familiar with, is when they kept either misnaming cards, or the effects of cards were completely different from what they were supposed to be, or at least inconsistent from one episode to another. That was kind of bad.
Now, don't forget, Pikachu attacked the horns and used an electric move on a ground type, and then having a horn became an ability in the Pokemon games, but it actually makes the Pokemon immune to electric type attacks. Like, that was before that ability became a thing, and then the ability became a thing. And it does the opposite!
I'm not even gonna start to understand where they thought that was a good idea in the show. I know at least in the games it makes sense, because the horn sort of serves as a lightning rod, right?
Yeah.
Man, Pokemon's cool! Oh look, an Elebits game going on.
Yeah. It's just, there's not a whole lot to say at this point in the game. Also, the fact that I have I have my computer in front of the TV so that Austin can watch what's going on, but that is making my controller glitch out to ridiculous degrees.
Oh, fun. I mean, frankly, I can't see much anyway, so if you need to shove the laptop somewhere else, go right ahead.
I might.
I'm seeing bloom. Oh look, there's a little bit more bloom. I can tell you're looking up right now because there's a little less bloom.
Very good. Okay. Let's see here. What's going on? Oh my gosh, so many so many Elebits! Austin, there's so many Elebits here.
There's so many points of bloom on the screen. Wow. What is this game? Twilight Princess? Anyway.
No, it's not. I wouldn't play that game. I don't.
Really?
I can't Zelda.
In what sense? Since we needed tangents to go on.
I cannot Zelda at all.
Well, I mean, sure, but there's different kinds of Zeldas.
No, you don't understand, Austin. I cannot Zelda at all.
I've heard some people say I can't Zelda because it's satanic. I've heard other people say I can't Zelda because I don't dungeon crawl, and other people say I can't Zelda because Ego Raptor. So you'll need to clarify.
Okay, Austin. I played Ocarina of Time.
Oh, you poor soul. Go on.
And I got to the Deku Tree. And, you know the part where you get the slingshot?
Uh-huh.
And then you're supposed to hit the slingshot thing on the other side of the room to make the ladder go down?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I got stuck there.
Oh!
I cannot Zelda.
Interesting.
I cannot Zelda. I'm never doing a Zelda game, guys.
Thomas, you know, this really, really, really makes me want to have you play Twilight Princess now. Like,
I cannot
really badly.
Zelda. Never make me Zelda.
Whenever I move to Texas, I'm totally tying you down and dragging a copy of at least, I don't know. Since you're good at this game, the Wii version of Twilight Princess over here and having you play that.
No.
Needless to
I
say,
might play Skyward Sword.
Really?
Yeah. Because apparently the puzzles are easier in that game or something. I don't know.
It's not so much that they're easier so much as it is every 3 seconds. Beep, beep. Master. Calculations show that lifting this up will give a 100% chance of success.
Very good.
And so all the puzzles will be solved for you.
Good.
And, well, fair point. Fine. Okay, then. To be fair, I did get stuck quite a few times during Twilight Princess, and I actually really enjoyed that aspect of it. It was the first Zelda game to actually have legitimately misdirecting puzzles, I suppose.
There was one puzzle in Twilight Princess that I did because I was at my cousin's place and he was playing the game.
Uh-huh.
It was the Ice Temple, and there were blocks that were sliding around, and I figured out the block sliding puzzle for him.
The block sliding puzzles were so fun! That hasn't been used in a Zelda game in so long. There were a couple of those in Link to the Past, I think, right?
I couldn't.
Oh, that's right, you don't Zelda, never mind. I'm pretty sure there were a couple of those in some old school top-down Zelda games, but to bring them into 3D like they did, I found that really interesting. They did a decent job because everything is slower in 3D Zelda, just because everything is slower in 3D because you gotta show the animations and whatnot.
Yeah.
But they did a decent job balancing it out so that there was only, I think in the entire game there were only 4 block pushing puzzles. 5 if you want to count the fact that you do one of them twice. I think that's pretty good, actually. That was a decent balance. That way they don't overstay their welcome, but at the same time, you've got to push around blocks, which was something new for 3D Zelda.
Okay, seriously, the noise thing keeps going off, but I don't see what is making noise?
I mean, you are picking up a giant teacup plate source of bloom, so...
That doesn't make noise! Look at that!
Giant plates don't make noise!
The waffles hit the pear and it destroyed my noise meter. This is Elebits, everybody!
I just want to take that out of context now. The waffles hit my pear!
No, the waffles hit the pear.
The waffles hit the pear, I'm sorry. And the bananas are in the fat, thing. And,
Okay, that is... No! I didn't even win the level, I don't think. I got very close to winning the level, but I did not actually win the level.
Oh, wow.
Okay, well, everybody gets an idea of what that level is, so we'll be back after I beat it.
There we go.
Alright, see you here in a minute. And
I've never heard of a secret laboratory being the worst level. That is an achievement. Anyway, proceed.
Yep. And basically, after that, he's going to learn that the Sky Elebit is the source of the anti-gravity going on. Which...
Hold on. This is religious text, I'm taking it, right?
No. You see, the first boss of the game, as I mentioned, was the Sea Elebit. The next one is the Sky Elebit. And
darn it, I was really, really hoping you'd be like, the giant Elebit in the sky, the big invisible Elebit in the sky is angry, hence everything blowing up and floating and things. No. I'm sorry. Please proceed.
Okay, so it's the Sky Elebit doing this, and you know how the the Sea Elebit was just a blue Elebit. I mentioned that. And it was all, like, mutated, freaked out and stuff.
Uh-huh.
Well, the Sky Elebit is a lot like that, except it's an orange Elebit, which, as I've mentioned at some point, manipulates gravity to fly. It doesn't just fly with its ears. I know that I mentioned that at least once. And so basically...
I don't remember it, but I'll take your word for it.
So yeah, basically, it is a super powerful orange Elebit that can manipulate not only its own gravity, but the gravity of a bunch of other things as well. There was only one other
one. That's actually a really interesting form of progression. So basically, since every Elebit has a certain ability, blue is stealth, orange is flying, suddenly
well, blue is more
all the
speed
levels
than stealth, but like speed and stealth, but yeah.
Either way, all I know is they have the ninja smoke bomb thing going on for them. So that kind of dealio for that. That's actually really interesting in general that they would have. You know, I always appreciate that in games, if that makes any sense. The Splatoon's another game I can think of that did this for the one-player mode, where everything that happens is like all the bosses that you fight are just big versions of bosses of smaller enemies that you fight in other sections.
Like Yoshi's Island.
Yeah, actually, just like Yoshi's Island. And I love it when a game can form their entire entourage of establishing really great, diverse mechanics for enemies, and then turning them into diverse mechanics for bosses without calling too much attention to it. And that's just really great.
I'm probably putting that in the episode.
Okay, then.
Well, what we just said here, that's in the episode now.
I'm so glad I was stuttering through all of that, Thomas.
Oh, pink Elebit. Oh my gosh, I found the pink Elebit. That should probably be in the episode.
There we go.
Except I didn't actually get it, but that's where the pink Elebit is, everybody.
Take note. There's gonna be a test later.
I don't know. Sonic and the Secret Rings, not my favorite control scheme in general.
Oh no, it's an awful control scheme, but I like it in the same way that there are good things about Sonic 06 that I like. So, take my word with a grain of salt. Or is it take my salt with a grain of word? Anyway.
Take your salt with a grain of memes.
I'm sorry, every time you say that I just keep jumping back to flashbacks of Revengeance. Memes, Jack!
I don't know what that is. Okay.
Oh, you've never played Revengeance? That's right. Metal Gear Rising, Revengeance. There's a character in that who talks a lot about memes.
Well, that sounds like my kind of character.
It sounds like Kojima to me. Yeah.
Sounds like me to me.
There we go. Are you Kojima?
I am.
So, why did you leave Konami?
Memes.
I mean, it works. At this point, Konami's gonna become a meme in their own right, so that works. Either way, that game in particular was actually really interesting. Not good, just interesting.
Okay, that sounds like an Austin game.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Sounds like a very Austin game.
There were just so many dumb decisions made in the second and third games that I can't really entirely respect them the same way I do the first one. But as a trilogy, it held up alright. I don't know why Tai just kind of disappeared off the planet at that point. I'm just gonna blame Konami, because that's the thing to do.
Yeah, there's Elebits stuck under there, but I can't get them because this thing is on the ground on top of them, and they cannot move. Or maybe I can just... Nope, not even with Super Strung. I can't do it. I can't do it, Austin!
Huh. So, do you have to get to, like, level 7 or something like that in order to be able to lift that?
I have no idea. Also, I should probably start activating these things, because it's like... You know, I lost because, like, all the noise, but I completely forgot noise cancelers existed.
Oh, that's right. Well,
also,
you don't use any of the power-ups in this game.
Also, by the way, we're recording again.
Oh, there we go.
We cleared the level, so now we're recording again. To show off other things in the level, you know what I mean?
Sure.
Technically speaking, we might have been recording for a while now, because we've been having some pretty interesting conversations.
It's usually what you get when you get a second person in here during a game that doesn't really have much to talk about. Tangents!
Yes, Konami!
Well, that's Konami for you.
Yep.
Oh, I want to play PT so bad. That was a really interesting.
There's
case.
the pink mouse. That's the same pink mouse from earlier that we saw on screen that I just collected just now.
So there's still 2 left?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Are you familiar at all with what happened with Konami and PT?
I am aware of what happened with Konami and PT, and PT is not something that my younger viewers should look up, because that is deeply disturbing.
He's a scary game. I like it, though. Not that really means much at this point. The political stuff, or the commercial stuff behind it is what really interests me. I'm pretty sure that was where the bad relations between Konami and Kojima started. I would assume, anyway. And that's why he left Konami, was basically because they were giving him a hard time with that, and a couple other things. And, what was it? They artificially removed his name from everything on, Fan and Pain recently, or something like that?
Wow, really?
Yeah, basically, originally it was something like Kojima Productions, or Kojima Studios, or whatever, on the front cover of the box, and they took that off, and removed his name personally from the credits, even though Kojima Productions is still in the credits. So, what he's been doing is, he's been personally signing his name on every copy of Fan and Pain around him. Okay. What is that?
Nothing! This is standing on nothing!
Oh no, it's Minecraft.
That's standing on... Gravity broke so hard that it's still broken. Okay.
The effects of the sky element lingers.
Oh no, sound is on again. There it is. I need that. I need that. Please break. Please break. There we go. Okay. Sound is off.
Oh, so you have enough of those lying around now that you can just keep throwing everything around?
Probably.
Nice.
Also,
I
just sort of forgot about them, so...
Yeah. That is one good thing about stockpiling power-ups, is you get to a point where you have so many you can just start wasting them.
It's like, what if I need them in an emergency? Oh wait, there's like 5, and that's enough to last the rest of the level. Okay.
Yeah, it's the same mentality you get when you get to the final boss and you have all these super awesome weapons and whatnot left in your arsenal in an RPG. It's like, well, I'm not going to be using them anywhere else, so I might as well use them here.
Yep. Throw that thing away! You know, I'm pretty sure these anti-sound levels are supposed to make you, like, feel nervous about throwing things around and stuff, but all they do is annoy me.
Well, the problem is that it was relatively inconsistent. If there was something like a noticeable set of sound effects for whenever you threw things around in a level that didn't have sound control, then it would be much easier to be able to tell, when you get to a level like this, what would sound off something and what wouldn't. Yeah. But it's not clear in this game, so that's a problem.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh boy, that's a lot of Elebits. Keep flying everything. There we go. Okay, that was that level.
There we go.
Alright, I'm gonna try to do another level in this video. Technically speaking... Oh wow, I actually got an A.
Was that a yellow Elebit walking back and forth? Or was that just the bloom screwing with my eyes?
That was probably a yellow Elebit walking around.
Gotcha. Looked very disturbingly humanoid. For like 5 seconds.
Yeah, no, it's not.
Okay, that's where the bloom started screwing with me. Okay, gotcha.
Alright, so now we've got another mission filled with objects. Which, I mean, I guess every mission is technically filled with objects. But... So many objects! There's a difference between having objects and having a lot of objects. You know what I mean?
The difference is a lot of objects.
Yeah. Alright, so, fancy some candy? Capture 19,000 watts of Elebits in 15 minutes, and there's gonna be a lot of stuff shooting at us. I'm probably gonna fail this mission. I'm calling it now, I'm gonna fail this mission because I'm gonna die from health.
It's so weird to introduce a health system into a game like this. I mean, I guess I shouldn't be talking. The first game I think of when I'm like, it doesn't have a health system was, again, Pikmin and Chibi Robo, and both of those games technically did have a health system, now that I think about it.
They did, yes.
You just don't think about that kind of thing a lot of the time, though.
Like, when do you actually die in Pikmin? When is that actually a threat?
Well, the way I played Pikmin 2, it was a viable threat, but barely. I had the brilliant...
Even you don't have problems with the health problems, Austin!
In Pikmin 2, my brilliant strategy so that I would never lose any Pikmin was to run through every single dungeon since there was no time limit, and punch things to death while my Pikmin waited back at base.
Hey, that's what I did too.
And then when I was done with the entire dungeon floor, I would send the Pikmin along. The only things the Pikmin ever had to fight were a couple bosses, and you just bring like 10 purple Pikmin and those are down, and I believe the final boss, which I was holistically unequipped to fight at that point, because I didn't ever use my Pikmin unless I was above ground.
Yeah.
So this is why I like the third game so much, is they made the captains relatively useless, and every single Pikmin was super useful all of a sudden, so... That was actually remarkably fun to send hordes and swarms and whatnot at enemies. It didn't really exist in the second game.
By the way, I don't know if you noticed from the name of the, like, challenge of the level, but there are a lot of cannons in this level.
Oh, cannons. I heard you say candy.
That's true. There's a lot of candy in this level as well. And I did indeed say candy at one point, but I also mentioned, like, there's the name of the level and the description of the level, and the name of the level has candy in it, and the description has cannons.
Gotcha. Do you think that was supposed to be a pun? A very, very English pun?
Probably not. I'm gonna say no to that one.
I know that ended up being a thing in, was it Sonic Lost World, where there was an enemy, end quote, that was like the candy cannon, only that I believe they called it Kanandi or something like that?
I don't know what they called it, but I remember that thing, yeah.
I forget what it was like a malted milk ball type shooter thing.
Yep. I definitely remember that.
Those were fun. Most people don't know you're supposed to bounce off those, as I recall.
Really?
Yeah, well, they kept trying to homing attack them and then just taking damage and tanking through those sections.
Amazing.
I mean, again, I have my complaints about the controls of that game, but bouncing off something like that seemed kind of obvious to me.
Well, I mean, it was obvious to me because I had already seen it in, like, the ads or the previews or something.
Oh, they did show that off, didn't they?
Yeah. So, I don't know how obvious it is to somebody who didn't see those. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. At the same time, though, there's... I don't know. I think the game did a pretty decent job trying to emphasize Sonic's ball form in a way that, like, for example, Sonic 06 didn't. And so the idea of you being in ball form, therefore you can bounce off and stuff, is pretty clear. And I've seen so many people jumping on, for example, the flowers in Silent Forest, but they double jump on the flowers, and then, why did that hit me? Why did that hurt? Yeah, to me, that's kind of obvious.
Well, I mean, that happened to me.
But it was also, like, day one for you. You didn't know the game extremely well and still call the flowers finicky. There are people who do that. Anyway.
I mean, like, now I know how to... I just know how to avoid them, actually.
Oh, you just completely skip over them?
Yeah.
Oh, I am way too obedient to that game's mechanics. Maybe that's why I don't like it.
Maybe!
Well, that and Lava Mountain 2. That's a level that I could never excuse, just because...
Lava Mountain 2 is the one with the rill, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
What
about the original version of it?
Oh, the original version is beautiful, but that also doesn't have the bomb carts, so...
Yeah, that's true.
No, that makes all the difference.
Bomb carts can kill Supersonic.
Yeah! Oh, I have so many complaints about that game. But I'm saving that all for a video that I'll make eventually about proper player reward and punishment systems. Eventually. Actually, I think that's going to be in a couple years.
Yeah, probably. You know, a lot of this level is just grab cannon, throw it. Throw it.
At least you get Elebits out of it, right?
Yep. Yeah, that's the thing, is that that's why you're throwing them.
Right.
Other than to deactivate them. Because, you know, deactivating cannons is kind of a good idea.
Hmm. Is there ever a level where you just start off and all of the Elebits are already in cannons and it's just like a war zone?
That would be impossible.
Right, because you would need to upgrade your gun first to be able to lift the cannons, right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
But I mean, there is another level with a lot of cannons in it. It's called My Little War. It's one of the last levels of the game, and it sucks. I'm just getting it out out there right now. It sucks. That level is like I mentioned that the secret office anti-gravity level was one of my least favorite levels of the game. That's the other one. That's the other bad level in this game. And we'll get to that one day. That level sucks.
I feel
okay?
like it.
It's terrible. Alright, so anyway, but back onto this level now. This level doesn't entirely suck.
Entirely.
Yeah, it's like, this is one of those meh levels for me. Because just any level where there's a really good chance of you getting hit a lot and dying is generally not that great a level in my book.
How often do the cannons show up on Ratio?
You know, there's this level. There was another level that you've already seen with the downstairs area. You remember that one, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you go into, like, Dad's, I don't know, man cave, I guess we could call it. There's, like, there's a ton of cannons in that one. There's this level. There's the one that I was talking about a moment ago. That sucks. What other levels are there? I think that these are the main ones. I think that's all the main ones that they happen in. But I mean, they also just occur in a couple other levels, more casually, I guess you could say. You know what I mean?
I mean, that makes sense. I kind of like that idea that the cannons can show up as a regular obstacle, but they're not a focus until a level like this.
Yes.
Big mistake I know a lot of games make, or a lot of badly made games, I should say, make, is that once they introduce a mechanic like the cannons, they're going to show up in every single level, and the game is going to start focusing on the cannons, rather than on the stuff that's actually decent about the game.
Yeah, no. Most levels do not have cannons in them. And for that, I am eternally grateful.
The first game that comes to mind for something like that is Mirror's Edge. I'm not sure if you've ever played that, but...
I have not, but I know about it.
Okay, well, the entire game is a parkour game, so it's first-person platforming, but there is certain bits where there's gunplay, and I'm sure at some stage they said, wouldn't it be great if we had an achievement, and therefore a focus of the game, to complete the entire game without ever shooting a gun? And I'm like, what a great idea for an achievement! I like that! So I always go for the pacifistic achievement, until you get to one of the last levels, where there's so many enemies, it's very clear they expect you to use a gun. Why would they design that? And then all the platforming just kind of goes away, and you're just supposed to march around with a giant machine gun or something for the rest of the stages. And it takes away a lot of the charm of a game like that when they end up, I don't know, breaking focus would be the best way to put it. I don't know. Because it's a game that's supposed to focus on platforming, and the last 4 or 5 levels don't have any platforming in them.
Wow!
Yeah.
That's like a Mario game where they decide to focus on combat for the Bowser level or something.
Yeah. I mean, there's a way you can do that. You can make a platforming game based on a platforming boss. That's what the both of the Mario 3D games were doing.
Yeah.
And, wow, the Mario 3D games versus the 3D Mario games. That's interesting. Anyway, because I know Mario 3D World had a really great emphasis on platforming throughout most of its combat, which more games should do that.
Yeah. Looking at you, Sonic.
Yeah.
Though to be fair, the Egg Robo boss fight, like the second half of it in Sonic Generations did that a lot. That was pretty good.
Yeah. If more bosses could be designed like that, that would be great.
Okay, so you see that right there? I just got hit by this thing. And it's like, the moment you stop just paying attention intensely, there's going to be a cannon and it's going to hit you. And there's going to be like very little warning that it's about to happen.
No bullet storms like in Toho or anything at any point, right?
No, nothing that bad.
Gotcha.
This is Elebits, not Toho.
Then again, it's also kind of hard to turn around, so it's kind of hard to get a relatively decent grip on your bearings a lot of the time in this game.
That's true.
So, I can imagine sidestepping things would be kind of difficult because you're not sure when things were fired and from where, kind of thing.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh, I cleared the level. Now it doesn't matter if I die.
I like that kind of philosophy. Well, I did all the level I should, so if I break Dad's gun at this point, it's not a big deal.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, no, I'm gonna go over to those phones over there and try to get Elebits. Oh my, another can't go away! Just, don't even bother getting the Elebits out of it, just throw it away. Throw it.
I'm sorry.
It's like Shia LaBeouf. Just do it! That's still relevant, right?
Oh, totally. Are those walls made out of chocolate?
Yes. Like I said, candy.
Right, gotcha. Okay. Is that just for this level, then?
I think that they can appear in a few other levels, but it's mostly this level. That's like the gimmick.
It's a very strange thing to just suddenly have a random sweet mountain level in a game like this, especially since most of Elebits seems to be about conserving a lot of assets. Like, a lot of the house levels crossed over with one another so they could get, I don't know, 10 levels out of 7 rooms kind of thing.
Well, that's actually the thing about this game, is that, you know, the beginning of the game reuses the levels a lot, but once you get to this part of the game, with the amusement part, oh my gosh, I can lift this whole thing. I can lift this whole thing! But yeah, once
Game and Pie Moving Company. We'll move your house for you.
Yeah, once you get to this part of the game, it's like, there's only like one area that's repeated, and technically you haven't seen it yet because it was in the first carnival level.
Gotcha. Huh.
Yeah, from here on out, we're pretty much just doing completely unique levels. We'll still be able to see other levels in the levels, but it won't be, you know, completely new stuff anymore.
I'm not too sure how I feel about that.
Yeah.
I kind of like the idea. Honestly, when I started watching this, I was under the impression that the entire game would just take place inside of the house. I mean,
we never did go to a basement.
Yeah, exactly. Like, one level would just be the basement, one level would be the entirety of upstairs, and then maybe the final boss would be chasing it around the entire house or something.
That would have been an interesting idea, and I'd like to see that idea in a sequel, because, I mean, there's a lot of levels you can see if they're connected, but you never actually get to go to them from the level, because, like, you know, you got the stairwell to the upstairs part from the living room. You've got the door that leads to the front of the house that was only used once, but you never got to go through that door. But, no, you still don't go to get, you never get to go through those things.
Yeah, that really is a shame. And especially when you get to something like this here, like, can you imagine if you had a half-hour level just taking place inside of this amusement park, and you just have to destroy the entire thing looking for Elebits?
That would be an hour-long level. Awesome.
Fine. Well, either way, that would be really interesting to try to, you know, have a final marathon level for each location or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, the house one is a bit more understandable because then, I don't know, maybe the boss could hide underneath the house, and that could be your final thing, is you have to charge up enough power to walk outside of your house to lift up the house to fight the boss. Or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm throwing this out my ears right now, but I mean, that's kind of the impression I got out of this game. That's why it's been compared to Chibi Robo so much, is because the idea of a house being your adventure setting. I'm starting to question whether or not those reviewers even finished the game.
If they even got halfway through.
Hey, when everyone was reviewing Sonic Unleashed, they only played the first 3 stages and then quit and then wrote bad, nasty reviews about it. Oh, you didn't know about this?
I did.
If you look at every major, if you look at every single major reviewing site, IGN, GameSpot, etc., every single one of them, the review only has footage from the first 3 or 4 continents. And everything they talk about makes it sound as if they only played the first 3 or 4 continents of the game. For example, that tornado minigame thing where you fly in a plane for a while and it's really awful and boring.
That only happens twice.
that only happens twice, and somehow 2 different reviewing sites both got it mixed up that you have to do that for every continent.
What?
Yeah. So...
I never even played that version of the game, and I know what's going on there.
Yep, nope, that's what they said. That's what they thought happened, yep. And that's the kind of quality reviews that we get to look forward to from these people. They're not even willing to finish the games if the companies didn't pay them off enough. So...
Incredible. Well, with that said, that's the end of this episode.
Great tone of bitterness to end that on, Thomas.
Well, no, first we have to look at the story, remember.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
I do that. I look at the story.
No one ever does that.
We have a story in this game, guys.
What?
It's true. I know. It's hard to believe, but Elebits has a story.
Mm-hmm.
Let's look at it. All right, so I think we're going all the way back here. Nope, that's not. That was too far. All right. Following that big parade of Elebits finally led me to the amusement park. I've always wanted to come here with Mom and Dad, but what are the Elebits doing here? Having fun? Actually, no, that was from yesterday's episode. That Elebit is so big, it's gonna be hard to capture. What a jerk, throwing things like that. This is, of course, talking about the yellow Elebit. Seeing that gingerbread house made me hungry, but something bugs me. That voice I've been hearing, like someone crying. What could that be? Who's crying? It's making me feel a little bit sad. And so, Kai has an emotion. Other than anger.
We're only like 18 episodes in, and finally he's not Kratosing on all of the Elebits anymore.
So anyway, I've been Mr. Game Pie.
I've been Austin on Sugar.
And we'll see you next time whenever we have slot machines or something.
Ooh!
Goodbye!
Goodbye.